Good evening, welcome to WooTube. oh, yeah, there we go. Hello everyone. Hey DJ. Bar, thanks for the shortest but most epic experience I've had with Essa. Was that against me? What happened? You'll have to remind me. Also, um, I don't think I can see chat today. I mean, I can see chat, but only because I can see like what I've put on screen. But that's kind of fine because, well, it might be fine. It'll be a bit of a short stream today. Hey, Supernauts. How's everyone doing today? So it's a bit of a short stream today. In fact, it's an incredibly short stream. Because I mainly just wanted to announce the details of the Bristol or Southwest regionals. Finality on Click 2 got me 4 agenda. Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it was short, but in a good way for you. Absolutely. Uh, yes, I should very quickly talk about the deck switch I played on Saturday. Although I almost shouldn't. I did very badly on Saturday. I had a great time. It was very fun. I was playing in the Reading Southeast regional. But I hadn't practiced my decks. I hadn't even put this deck together. This is nearly the deck which I played. It's missing a card. I can't work out what it is, and I haven't got time to go in and find out. I think it's an ice. I'm pretty sure I was on 15 ice, but I can't work out what the last missing ice would have been. I don't think I was on a brand, but I might have been on maybe it was like one brand, something like that. But I was still trying to build this at like midnight, past midnight the night before, to get it right. I even disappeared down some sort of rabbit holes. I tried putting it in Architects of Tomorrow for a short period. I tried one game with it in Miramorph, didn't like it, moved it back. Stuck with Asa in the end. I wanted to play Asa because I do like Asa. And I got to do some like nonsense Asa stuff. This is the only deck which actually won on the day. I won 2 games with this. And neither of them felt like one of them was a very good win, but unfortunately it just kind of wheeled out before my opponent could do anything. And the other one was a bit too tight for my liking. But you know, the idea is there. I'm still trying to score salvos. Yeah. If you score a salvo, then it's kind of nutty how good this deck can get. But it turns out that just scoring stuff off Gypstad grids is often good enough. And yeah, so I played this. It was a deck. It could have been better. And then I played this Arasana deck with a Chisel, which was fun, but did basically nothing all day. The idea behind the Chisel was to try and take out all the Tatubolas, which everyone seems to be playing. And I don't think I faced a Tatubola all day. I think all I actually did with this Chisel was delete a Rhyme. And I think that genuinely might be the only time I used it for anything of benefit. Um, so yeah, it just it just didn't quite get there. The like win con of single conduit when I don't have SMCs. Like I was always worried about this because I don't have SMC, and so like fight like tutoring a conduit is pretty tricky. Even in games where I did get conduit down, it didn't feel very good. Um, I wish I was on deep dive like all day. Like if I just swap this for two, even without an extra click gainer, like I don't have a Pikachu in here, and this was my kind of thing. It was like trying to find some additional slots because two deep dive plus one Pikachu is like three slots, and like maybe just a single conduit gets there for only one slot, but it just didn't feel good enough. Like it was a fine deck to play. I lost to a PD where I had to like trash a bunch of voids. I have two pinhole threadings in this. Didn't draw a single one of them all game. Just had to keep running through ice multiple times so that I could force out cards from hand so I could trash voids. So that was quite hard. And I eventually lost to a never advanced Ikawa Jam. I lost another game to something, I don't know. We did have a very funny game actually. So I was playing the core damage Asa against Nick, who was on Essa, which was quite interesting. Especially as at one point, like the first agenda which I scored out was a salvo testing, because even though Nick is playing Essa, like I'm probably going to have to score out one of these salvos unless I can find every single one of my ontological dependencies before Nick can find a single one of them, which is kind of quite tricky to do. So I pushed out a salvo and I scored a salvo, and it did a core damage, which meant that I had to sabotage 2 on my turn and sabotage 1 from the marrow, and I lost 3 cards, and I was basically just really struggling to hold cards in hand like all game. And it was only then a few turns later when I scored out an ontological dependence for 0 advancements, and I just sort of was thinking, wow, I really wish I didn't have to do a core damage off this. And at that point, I realized that salvo testing is a May. Like, there was no reason for me to do a core damage when I scored out this salvo testing. I didn't need to. I didn't really want to. I knew that Nick was going to take enough. Like, he was already on 2 or 3 core damage. Like, they're going to get to at least 3 or 4 by the end of the game, and they did. And 4 is the magic number. I don't have any benefit for Nick going over 4. So yeah, I then did a massive swear. Luckily, I was in a little side room and didn't really disrupt too many people, as I proclaimed that salvo testing is apparently a May ability. I also then tipped my next opponent off to exactly what I was playing, because Bowsley happened to be sat like 3 seats down, and I played Bowsley next game. Great person, Bowsley, but I'd totally given away what my deck was trying to do. So they very wisely did a hard contest on the first thing, which looked like a salvo push. Yeah. So that was the decks. Anyway, let's get on to the more exciting thing. So Southwest Regionals. This has been something which I've kind of like dropped little hints and things like that for a while, but now I have like some far more credible, definite dates and things like this. So the Southwest Regional will happen in Bristol, and it will happen on the 10th of May. Now, notably, the 10th of May is the day that elevation becomes legal. So this is the first the first official tournament, like competitive tournament in the new meta. Now, importantly, for that reason, it's not a district, because you can't run a district after whatever, like the end of April, basically. And this was never, well, not never going to be a district. I was originally planning on it being a district back when I applied. And then once the dates and once all the other districts have been announced and everything like that, there just wasn't a date where I could ever have done it. Yeah, I'm just here to confuse people, basically. So this is like part of the UK regionals 2025, which means that you get sick brindle mold art just for turning up. I've got the echelons, which I don't have a picture of, but who needs a picture when you've got the actual thing? Right. Like, oh no, they're not echelons. I'm on Slash and Burns. I need to change that. So, uh, can you see that? I can't see if this is like awkward today. Right, there we go. You get a pretty sick Slash and Burn. I need to amend the always be running already. Um, Also, hey Cold Lava and hello Phil. Um, so you get a six slash and burn just for turning up, and even more than that, I have been in conversation with someone you might know called Kysra, who is also I've commissioned to do an alt art for the tournament, which will also be a participation prize. And it's going to be an elevation card. I can't show you. I can't show you it yet. It will be currently work in progress. But have you ever seen a bad Kysra alt art? No. So that's going to be exciting. So there'll be some pretty sick participation prizes, and then we are going to be using the the H2 CO kit, which has finally arrived as the kind of the main prize support as well. So the See How They Run playmat for the top two. We've got the Tranquility home grids and the tree lines, which you can see down here. This is the Tranquility home grid for tree lines. Up to the top eight, and then there's also going to be I've got some GNK kit prizes to fill in some of the lower ones. So 9th to 12th will get an alt art of the Kurapira. This is from one of the GNKs from last year. And 13th to 20th will get the full art Your Digital Lives. And there's also going to be other stuff available on the day, various things. I have a pretty hard cap of 48 players. I will be putting a ticket link up. I guess I should have done that already, but probably not going to happen tonight now. So I will do that tomorrow. And because this isn't like an official district or anything like that, and I can kind of do what I want, I decided to try something different. We're going to run this as an all Swiss event, so no top cut. There's various reasons for this in my mind, and we'll see if the thinking behind it comes out. But I just always, I don't know. There's something about most tournaments, and obviously you should have a top cut at most like big tournaments. It makes sense. I'll make sure there are enough rounds of Swiss to make sure it's it works cold lava absolutely. It will depend a little bit on final numbers, but yes. But there's this weird thing that I've kind of, particularly at like the smaller events which aren't like worlds or like continentals, where you have like this fun event, everyone's really hyped, you get like, there's loads of buzz, loads of energy in the room. You get to like the end of Swiss, you do a bit of a like announcement, you say who's in the top cut, you give out some prizes, and then everyone goes, apart from the people in the top cut, and then you have this like quiet, somewhat serious top cut with like no atmosphere in the room. Galar, this is not a mega city, not even close. It's not even a district. So top cut is definitely mandatory for that, but this is all outside of NSG's rulebook, so really doesn't matter. This is just a regional. This is not even, it's like completely out of the sway. So basically it like goes, the whole kind of feel of the event kind of feels a bit weird at the end. You sometimes end up with like 4 people in the room when the person wins, and I don't know, there's just something about that I've kind of feels a little bit flat, so I wanted to try something else. So the announcement will be at the end when everyone's still there, and then we can all go to the pub if people want to go to the pub. No worries, Galar. Yeah, this is not anything. Essentially, I put that, it's a somewhat joke because it was originally meant to be a district, and I had to change my plans. I had to change all the plans. So this isn't using a district kit, but it's just because all the other regionals are districts. I needed to, or I felt I needed to specify a little bit. So that's the plan. And oddly, like, that may well be it for tonight and for a little while. I've like, with my new job and various other things, at the moment I'm struggling a little bit with time. So there's a chance that I don't actually stream WooTube for maybe the next month. I'm not totally sure. Like I feel like I've had a pretty good run of being fairly consistent and managing to stream pretty much every Monday. Like, there's been a few times when I haven't been able to do it, but for I think over 2 years now. It might even be longer than that. I actually need to go back and look when I started. But it might be time for me to take a bit of a break, unfortunately. I might be able to like throw up some recorded content instead. But I think, I don't know. Basically, I'm probably taking, let's say it's like a month off, right? And I'll come back probably around the time of like spoiler season, because there'll be a lot to talk about at that point. And in the meantime, you'll be able to catch me occasionally on Eternal Super League, doing commentary, things like that. If you haven't watched last week's Eternal Super League, go and watch it now. It's amazing. It's really good. Hey David, how you doing tonight? But yeah, so like incredibly short but sweet tonight, and might be short but sweet for a while, which is a bit of a shame because this is like normally one of the highlights of my week, just coming on here and chatting to people basically. Hey Podrick. Um, but needs must, and I'm sure once I can make a bit more. I'm sure once I've sorted a few bits and pieces out here, then I'll be back on for I guess WooTube season 3, as I decided at some point to call the last however many episodes season 2. So yeah, uh, keep your ears to the ground. I'll be back in a bit, but just probably not next week or a week after or a week after that. Um, yeah, cool. Well, that's it for tonight. Like I said, short but sweet. Um, See you all in a month, and